Hey everyone, it's the Photo Techie. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is on the software update for the Fusion Pro 3. So here on the screen, once you select the controller, you'll see all these different options. In the past, all we had was like a screen where you could test if the controller was working properly, but you couldn't do anything. I remember there was a time I couldn't even calibrate the controller. Now the first one, extra stuff they have added is the Remap page, and this is very unique. So you can change any of the face buttons feature to anything else or disable them apart from the triggers. But what they've allowed us to do now, we can actually disable the thumbstick press on the thumbstick itself and assign it to one of the back buttons. That assignment to the back button will still work, and the thumbstick, just a button inside, won't be basically pressing it. So if you are like me and you find it accidentally pressing it every now and then, especially if you're using it very quickly, then this is a very decent option that we have now. Just disable the thumbstick press and assign one of the back buttons. So that's something that wasn't there before. And I'm not sure if we had the ability to assign menu and view buttons to the back buttons in the past. So we have that now. You can actually assign one of the menu and view buttons to the back buttons. So if you're playing a game where you have to press them a lot and you don't want to take your thumbs off the sticks, then you can actually do that. So definitely a good add in my opinion with the Remap page. Next, we have the trigger dead zone settings. So this controller actually uses Hall sensor triggers. Unlike their cheaper ones, the Advantage and I believe Lumetra or whatever they're called, they have potentiometer triggers, but they didn't use any switch. So when we engage the trigger stops, it actually doesn't engage the maximum dead zone options. So if I leave these to T3, you will see what happens in Gamepad Tester. So if I'm pressing them fully, they will press OK. If I engage the trigger stops, it doesn't auto adjust maximum dead zone. So it will only do that 30-35% press. If you have a game that needs a more basically press than this, Halo or something like that, then your gun won't fire. So, which is a problem. Now, in the past, I was able to do a manual calibration with the trigger stops engaged to force that shorter trigger to do a full 100% press. Now they've given us the software option. So this is the next best thing. We can actually just select what we want. So if we just do T1, it will just do a full 100% press at the shortest setting. So now we can do a full 100. And not only that, they actually allow us to do a manual. So we can do even 20% push to do a full, and then we can add a bit of a minimum dead zone as well. So I think this one is definitely a really good option, which we didn't have before, especially considering this one uses Hall sensor triggers. Then they've given us the stick dead zone page where we can assign a minimum dead zone, which is explanatory, but you assign how much dead zone you want the stick to have in the center. And then we have the maximum dead zone option. Now, the maximum dead zone, basically what it does is it just makes the whole active area smaller. It's not doing that, it's bringing that outer register, because this one actually has a bit of a hyper response. I'm going to show you guys what the shape this one actually makes. So this is basically the normal shape of the thing. Now imagine that's the game's maximum boundary. We have so much of that extra register after that's actually on the controller, and it does feel like even if I do the register within the 100%, you will see that it's not a circle. We have those extra diagonals that this controller makes. And I've said this in my original review as well, this does feel like something that's very sort of like, hyper responsive. So here we have the center, and you will see the diagonal sort of like pushing a bit more outwards. What we can do is, so if I leave this here and I go to the right stick maximum dead zone, if I reduce that by, let's say, 30%, 35%, if I save it, now that same position where I was getting little register, I'm going to get a lot more register. So we are basically effectively making the active area smaller. I wish they had given us a different option. I wish they've allowed us a raw output instead of just making the whole active area smaller, because the issue I have with this controller is definitely that very hyper response that sometimes feel uncontrollable. Now, if you can get past that, the controller actually performs really well. I've actually enjoyed my time with this one on X-Defiant. Sniping actually felt really good. That hyper responsive, once I got used to it with the right dead zones and right in-game settings, felt really good. Also, using the normal weapons, I've had great success, and the back button placement feels really nice. I think tracking targets The hyper response, I did had to get myself used to it, but like I said, once you get adjusted to it, this is definitely one of a really good controllers. So final thoughts, guys. I think this is, in my review, I said I really like the ergonomics of the controller. I think it's a really good controller, especially with 4 back buttons. And now we have some added functionality, which I think is definitely a win for this controller. But it has competition from like the Nacon Revolution X, and Victrix Gambit is one of the other ones, but I consider that to be a 2 back button controller. But if you can get past, if you've used that Fusion Pro 2 or other Fusion controllers, which I'm not sure if they have this hyper kind of response, but if you can get past that, I think this is a really solid option at its price point right now in the market where everything seems to be going. The 4 back buttons controllers are just like, getting more expensive, especially the ones with software support like the Stealth Ultra and stuff. But yeah, just a quick video to show you guys what sort of features they've added. I hope you find it useful. Please share your thoughts if you've, how you've been using this controller, especially if you have any negative stuff going on in terms of longevity. Now, my one, this unit here only has around 80, 90 hours of game time. But I'm using it a lot more now on XDefiant, so yeah, I will keep testing it. But definitely share your thoughts in the comments, guys. And thank you so much to everyone who subscribed. Your support means a lot. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Hopefully, I'll catch you in one of my other videos. Bye for now.